Now, what work is still left to be done out there? Space debris. We have massive amounts of space debris. Much of it is unidentified. Should it be prohibited to create space debris? Eventually, it is said that we'll have so much space debris that it will no longer be possible to use outer space, that it will cover the Earth like a blanket, and that we will cut ourselves off from space. And when something is in orbit, if it's a high enough orbit, it's in orbit for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So should we prohibit it? There are guidelines in place. There are efforts to mitigate debris. What about who should be at fault? What about anti-satellite tests that are conducted, unfortunately, on a fairly regular basis? In 2007 by China, 2008 by the United States, 2020 by India, and just a few weeks ago by Russia. And these tests are kinetic. They fire a missile at a satellite. They're always at their own satellite, so it's not an act of war. But what it does do is showcase their military strength, and it creates massive clouds of debris that will remain in orbit for 500 years. And they're already threatening the International Space Station, forcing it to engage in evasive maneuvers. It is said that that is legal, but there is a movement afoot to ban kinetic anti-satellite tests, and I think it must succeed if we are to continue to use outer space. So space debris and the military use of outer space is a very challenging topic. Here we have, unfortunately, the wreckage of a Virgin Galactic spaceship on the floor of the Mojave Desert in California. And that gives rise to safety regulations. To what degree should we regulate space tourism companies? Some want to regulate them like an airline. Others have won the day because there are virtually no safety regulations for suborbital spaceflight. The regulatory system is based on informed consent, that you assume the liability if you buy a ticket. Is that enough? Here we see Buzz Aldrin again, planting a flag on the moon. He did not claim it as the 51st US state, but it goes to the question of property rights. And it is the basic understanding that private property is impossible in space because it's based on a country having ownership, having sovereignty over the land, and then granting certain parties ownership, which is based on sovereignty. And if there is no sovereignty, can there be private property? Or can there be something similar to private property? Taking that a next step, what about space mining? This is the artist's depiction of a mining operation on the moon. Can you own parts of a celestial body, even if you can't own an area on the moon? The consensus on that is yes, although it's still a spirited debate. The United States, Luxembourg, Japan, the UAE have all established laws clarifying that it's legal to own whatever you extract from a celestial body. So we seem to have handled that issue. Now the next one is, can you stake a claim for a portion of the moon that has minerals or ice, the most valuable? That is too close to an ownership right and does not have legal clarity yet. So we are working on that. Can you grab an entire asteroid and mine it till it's all gone? If you can own what you mine and the entire asteroid is made of platinum, can you mine it until it's no longer in existence? Well, some rightly say that if you destroy something, that is an act of ownership, and that should be prohibited under international law. But an undecided question still. Mega satellites. We had about 6,000 operational satellites in orbit beginning of last year. Now we've multiplied that. And we will continue to multiply it by a factor of 5, 10. Within the next couple of years, we'll go from 6,000 active satellites to 60,000 or 100,000. And the FCC, the agency that licenses telecommunications, has allowed that. But it's obviously creating space traffic management issues and debris. So that's another issue. And probably the grander issues will be how do we operate entire communities? Will there eventually be an independent state, a new country on Mars, for example? And Elon Musk has suggested that there will be. There will be Martian laws. And that has triggered some space lawyers.